Okay, so my name's Mark. I'm from London. I came to the Smile Centre Turkey October 2025 for the first time. It's my second time here in Feb 2026. And I can't sing the praises highly enough of the Smile Centre Turkey. Don't want to sound like one of those corny people, oh, it was this and it was that. But genuinely, it has been an absolutely first-class experience. I would certainly recommend to anyone who's thinking about having work done on their teeth to seriously consider coming here. Let me give you a bit of background as to why it's worked for me. I had the most bizarre of accidents walking up a train station at Wimbledon in London of last year with my bike. I was going up the stairs, my foot gave way on one of the stairs. I had the handlebars at eye level. The handlebar came and took out my tooth. And I spent the next week in and around 4 different dentists, had emergency work done on a Saturday, 4 different dentists about what my options were. And not one of the dentists in the UK, I'm sure there are some, but at least the 4 that I went to, not one of them actually said that in the time that I would have an implant done, I could actually have a real temporary tooth that was fixed in place for the duration. Instead, I would have to have a denture, and I just said, listen, I'm not old enough to have a denture, or I certainly don't feel old enough to have a denture. That's for old people, 75, 80 and above. But when I contacted the Smile Centre Turkey, from the very first interaction, I just got this real sense of people who knew what they could do. They had a process that was efficient and warm and caring as well. It wasn't just this cold technical approach in as much as that they would say, oh, just do 1, 2, 3, ABC. It felt warm, it felt inviting. And then I just decided, I said, well, what's the cost? When I looked at the cost, it was 1/3 of the cost of what I was going to have to pay for a single tooth in the UK. And then I just said, well, let's give it a chance. Let's just give it a go. Came in October last year. From the very first moment, from the young receptionist lady, absolutely beautiful young lady in terms of her warm, inviting spirit into the company. Met the chap that I'd been communicating with via text for the first time as well, and then met the different people, different stages, different departments or teams here. Every single individual is a testament to how well this business is run. And then got the temporary, really efficient, the dental nurse who helped the dentist. It's just been an absolutely amazing experience. But as you can well imagine, that was only stage 1. Obviously with the temporary was good, but you could tell it was a temporary. But the shape was good, the color was completely wrong. Made me a little bit nervous. At first I was thinking, oh, I wonder what it could be like when I go back in 13 weeks time. But then when I've come back, again, the service was superb, second time round, and now the result is probably better than the crown that I had originally in that place. They are experts at what they do. Not only that, they will work along step by step. So when it was, for want of a better expression, 85% of the way there, I had a team of about 3 or 4 people around me outside of this building here who they were discussing it, and they were talking about the tweaks that I wanted to have done in terms of the shape, in terms of the color, and in terms of the end result. And then the end result for me, when I sent it to one of my sons back in the UK to say, what do you think? My middle son in particular is a bit of a fashionista. His hair, his teeth, everything is perfectly manicured. And when I sent it to him, I said, what do you think? He just said, Dad, I can't tell that it's not one of your real teeth. And I just said, okay, well, that for me was more than good enough to know, yeah, I'd already had my own views. I thought it was 8 out of 10, but when he said that, I was able to then look at it in a completely different light, because obviously it's mine. You're going to be nervous as to whether or not you've actually got everything right, whether they've got everything. But when you now have an independent person who just sees it for the first time, then you realize, actually, this is way better than even I was originally appreciating. So in summary, Smile Center Turkey, for me, 10 out of 10, genuinely 10 out of 10. I don't say that lightly because there aren't that many companies that I've given 10 out of 10, but over the years. But this is a company that I would strongly recommend to anyone. If you need to have teeth work done, come to Smile Center Turkey Antalya.